Thank you for that generous introduction. I am really honored to be here, actually, to be here in the 21st century, sharing time and space with all of you as a witness to this most remarkable time in the history of Earth and of our species in particular. If I had to choose which planet, I think the one on the left is probably the one most favorable. There are some who wish to make a journey to go set up housekeeping on the red planet Mars, and I say, good luck with that. We've got a 4.5 billion year head start, and we have just now arrived at a place where we're beginning to understand the magnitude of our ignorance and the importance of respecting who we are, where we've come from, where we could go if we learn how to find harmony with nature. Our habit has been conquering nature, monetizing nature, using nature to foster our prosperity. And we've done a pretty good job of using nature. Our job is not to use it up, use her up. I think about Shia, who you just heard, when I realized that when I was Shia's age, no one had seen Earth from space. No one had been to the deepest part of the sea. I mean, cell phones, the communication we currently have, just simply did not exist. What Shia has that I did not have when I was her age is the knowledge that's been gained in the 21st century, and of course, especially in the latter part of the 20th century. We're on a roll in terms of taking the knowledge from all over the world, from all of the preceding history, with the ability for the first time to be able to share it, see it, almost taste it. We have the potential for an enduring future, but we have to hurry. Earth is in trouble. We know that. We did not know it when I was a child. We thought our job was to continue using nature, natural resources, to be converted to something better, clear cut the forests so we could build stuff and take from the ocean. We're still taking from the ocean on an industrial scale. The blue face of the planet, there it is, the Pacific Ocean. It's about half the world. Actually, about half the world is in the high seas beyond national jurisdiction. Just a week ago, I was with individuals who are looking to use some of the ancient traditions of wayfinding across the blue face of the planet, the Pacific Ocean. The Polynesian voyagers, thousands of years before there were European voyagers who have been out for the last few hundred years, even Chinese explorers, but the Polynesians have been out and they look at the ocean as the blue heart of the planet. That is their origin story. They are of the ocean. Fact is, we all are of the ocean. They have depicted in their ancient pathways, wayfinding among the islands that connect the people of the Pacific. They depict it as an octopus. The head of the octopus is in Tahiti. It's an island group. And it really strikes me, as it strikes them, Earth is an island in a universe that is really not very friendly. On our watch, we have, for the first time, the capacity to understand what our predecessors could not, learn from those who had the wisdom of really finding a place within the natural systems that make our existence possible. I want to share just a quick video clip with you, a piece of it anyway. Back in 2009, Google launched the ocean in Google Earth. National Geographic and Google and a little group that began forming, now known as Mission Blue, collaborated to develop a series of spots that would appear on the face of the Earth that you could dive in and see what's beneath the surface. Hope spots. Let's go to the Atlantic. Intensely blue, the waters around Bermuda are warmed by the Gulf Stream, one of the world's largest and swiftest ocean currents. Humpback whales pass through these waters each year, migrating from polar feeding grounds. These waters are also known to legions of luminous deep-sea creatures and intrepid undersea explorers. In the 1930s, zoologist William Beebe and engineer Otis Barton descended 1,000 meters into the depths around Bermuda for a first view of life in a place the sunlight never reaches. Beebe compared what he saw to naked space itself, out far beyond atmosphere, between the stars, where the blackness of space, the shining planets, comets, suns, and stars must really be closely akin to the world of life as it appears to the eyes of an old human being in the open ocean, 1/2 mile down. For Beebe and Barton, the comets, suns, and stars were living creatures reflecting rainbows of iridescence, were flashing, sparkling, and glowing with their own living light. Fireflies and glowworms are famous light makers on the land, but in the deep sea, about 90% of the creatures, jellies, fish, bacteria, shrimp, squids, and many others, have some form of bioluminescence to signal one another. Scientists say these bursts of starry light may be the most common form of communication on the planet. So, here we are, terrestrial beings really in the last few decades for the first time beginning to appreciate that the ocean is alive with forms of communication, with sound that travels across whole ocean basins, with light as a form of communication. As a young scientist, I had a chance to participate in expeditions going at sea, really not knowing what was under the vessel, going back to the 1960s, when for the first time it was possible using scuba to get beneath the surface. And since then, technologies have been developed, and I've had, again, the pleasure of being able to actually be one of those humans who can live underwater for days, weeks at a time, to get to see what it's like day and night, to visit with a fish on their own terms, to get to see their faces, using technologies that not only did not, but could not exist until right about now. Technologies that were largely developed to exploit the ocean have been adapted to be able to explore the ocean. And again, I feel like one of those privileged individuals able to use some of these technologies, like the astronauts who go high in the sky, to come back as witnesses and share the view of what now is known that could not be known before, had a hand in helping to develop little submarines to transport us, like William Beebe and Otis Barton, who inspired me as a kid when I read the book 1/2 Mile Down and read in the pages of National Geographic. It really made me want to be able to go and see what they saw and to be able to share the view. And with National Geographic and a 5-year project that Richard and Rhoda Goldman Foundation funded, along with NOAA, the agency where I once served as the chief scientist of NOAA, to get kids, to get fishermen, to get scientists, of course, to be able to actually use technology to make systems so simple to drive that even a scientist can do it. And I'm living proof. I can tell you, if I can do this, you can do this. Anybody can get into a car, either to be taxied around, chauffeured, or to take the controls. Who would not wish to hop into a little submarine and go exploring the blue part of the planet? It's there to be done, just as the early days of aviation were in the 20th century, now in the 21st. We're on the edge of a time when we can access the ocean directly. And here is Gustavo, I don't remember his name, from Ecuador, the Minister of the Environment, who, for the first time, got into a submarine. I have to say, like some of you, might be a little apprehensive at first. He got over it. And when we got down to the bottom, below where sunlight shines, we had lights on.
Can you do it with your hand?
Oh, he's right over your head.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It didn't happen right now. Unbelievable.
That was Gustavo Manrique, who is a diver, but he's also one with influence over what happens in the ocean, and getting him to actually go into the ocean is transformative. Imagine if we could get some senators and presidents and other influencers to go high in the sky, to be on the face of the moon, to look back on Earth and see what our predecessors could not. This is our moment. We have the technology to do what those who preceded us could not do. And it's one of the ways that nations are coming together. Irrespective of political differences, we're all at this vast time of change, of learning, of technology development. Systems have been developed now to go even to the deepest part of the sea. Victor Vescovo did not build this submarine, he commissioned it, but he's been sharing the view. Now more people have been to the deepest part of the ocean than have been to the moon. But that wasn't the case 5 years ago. We are now at a point where the technology gives us the capacity to explore, to understand as never before. But technology cuts both ways. We also are exploiting rainforests. We are transforming rivers into power plants. We're looking at mining the deep sea with technologies that will certainly serve in a way that is not in our best interest. The deep sea has not felt the bite of human activity except for the rain of stuff that we put into the ocean and the changing chemistry of the ocean that affects all of the ocean everywhere. But it doesn't take much to disrupt the deep sea. And we are right at this edge of a time when not only taking from the deep sea, but destroying the fabric of life that is part of what makes our planetary security possible. If we had to choose two things to do to secure our enduring future, number one would be to protect as much as we possibly can of the living natural systems that are still intact. The wilderness, if you will, the wild. The wildest part of the planet that is still intact is the deep sea, the high seas. There are some forests. About half the coral reefs are still in pretty good shape. About half are gone. Seagrass meadows, we've lost about half. Mangroves, similarly. On the land, we've done even more damage. Only about 5% of the old growth forest remains in North America. We've done such a good job using our technologies, our marketing power, our belief that nature is there for us to use natural resources. But we still have a chance, the best chance we will ever have on our watch, to look at what we're doing to the ocean, converting ocean wildlife as we have converted wildlife on the land into products, to come to value nature for her own sake. Squid, now taken by the ton, are far more important in the ocean alive. Being in the middle of a so-called feeding frenzy in the ocean, squid, small fish, medium-sized fish, large fish, birds, dolphins, to be a part of that, to be a witness without becoming a part of it, is really a privilege. But to see the chemistry of the ocean, the conversion of sunlight through plants into the carbon cycle, this is a climate issue, just as what we're putting into the ocean is a climate issue. altering the nature of nature on our watch. She mentioned planetary guardians, the planetary boundaries. Johann Rockström and his colleagues defining what it is that we're doing, how far we have come, how far we have left to go. Not much, it turns out, before we've reached those dreaded tipping points beyond which we will not be able to recover, no matter how hard we try. We have the opportunity to tip in the right direction. We have, right now, treaties that are on the table. If we can get enough nations to step up and ratify the High Seas Biodiversity Treaty, it will be possible to safeguard maybe as much as half of the Earth, at least 30% of land and sea by 2030 is the objective. Did I say 2030? Here we are. We are 6 years away from reaching that internationally agreed upon target. I've been working since, well, the last 15 years or so with the idea of what can be done to safeguard the areas in the ocean that are still in good shape and to restore, that's the second thing that we must do, restore what we can of those systems that safeguard our planet. Now there are 160 plus hope spots with champions, individuals who are working together with their communities, with their governments, with scientists, of course, with artists, with those who have the power. That would be all of us. Everyone has the capacity to do something. Mission Blue has enlisted partners from around the world to help join in with this effort to move not from planetary decline, not tipping into the wrong direction, but why not tip in the right direction? Hope spots with champions, with individuals who are coming together across the Pacific, in island countries, in nations, saving the sharks instead of killing the sharks, protecting, celebrating, enlisting presidents who are sympathetic, who have jurisdiction over little island countries, go diving with them, take them into the ocean, meet with them, talk with them, enlist them. Heads of corporations, inspired leaders like Jane Goodall, who has 4 reasons for hope. Number 1, it's the human mind. We have the capacity to do what other creatures, as smart as they are, don't have the power to do what it takes to tip in the right direction. The human spirit, to go beyond what, we know what to do. We can engineer this, that, and the other thing, but it's that will. Call it love, if you will. And the third thing is the resilience of nature. Fortunately, we can still breathe. There's still time. We still maybe have half of the natural world in pretty good shape. We have to really restore what we can, save what we can. Her fourth reason, is that this moment in time, to be able to look at the reach that we have around the world, to enlist the ancient wisdom, the modern technology, to see what's under the canoe, to see what's under the surface, to join together, to use technology. And now, just in the coming year, there will be the merger of the voyaging canoes working together with a new generation of little Honu subs, Honu meaning turtle, that bridges land and sea, to explore the ocean, engage the kids, get them out there, down there, to bring them back, of course. Never before have we had a better chance. Never again is this the time. Thank you.